God bless you, my friend, and welcome to another edition of Second Time Around. I am your host, Dr. Ray Johnson, and I'm here with my lovely bride. What's, what's your name is, girl? What's your name?
Oh, what is my name? Alatash Kabibi Johnson.
Alatash Kabibi Johnson, and we are indeed here with another episode of Second Time Around. It's a much needed conversation about necessary endings and also new beginnings. So if you haven't shared this, we want to make sure that you share this, get as many people in as you can tonight. Tonight we've got a great episode. We're going to spend some time talking about a wonderful topic area that's near and dear to everybody. So if you haven't shared it yet, make sure that you take time and begin to share this. Let's get as many people in as you can. So listen, I happen to be an author, an educator, and a leadership development coach, and I want to help you grow in your next time or your best time relationships. Honey, how about you tell them who you are?
You know what? I am a worshiper, first and foremost, a writer, and a woman who is in love with this man right here.
And I'm a man that happens to be in love with this woman, so much so that I married her. It's real now. And so listen, we've been having this conversation about what it takes for a second time and next time relationships to work and actually come into their best time around. And so as a part of that conversation, we've developed something called the acid test. And I remember a little bit about the periodic table, but the most important thing I remember is the pH balance, and that stands for personal happiness. Now, when you look at it, we've been looking at there's been much of this conversation about toxic relationships, about toxicity levels. And so for us, the acid test, we took time to kind of develop something, and we're still underway with it and trying to measure whether or not relationships are really toxic or not, or if those relationships are working well or not. And so if you go from 0 to 7.3, that's on the low end of the scale, and what that literally means is that the relationship is toxic. It has a high acidity level.
Those
But
low
if
numbers,
it's and if it's the high level, it's 7.4 to 14. That's normal, and so the acid levels or the toxicity level is very, very low. So you want to do everything you can in your relationship, second time, next time, or best time around, to ensure that the numbers are actually low. Turn it this way so we can see who's joining in with us tonight, and let's be able to greet a few people as they're on their way in. Make sure that you share this as soon as you see it. Jeff, God bless you. Sanita, God bless you. Share this. And so listen, we took the word acid and we actually gave it an acronym. And so the letter A stands for whether you are amenable and adjustable or adaptable. And then the other part of that is if you're somebody that's not agreeable and you're not adjustable and you're not amendable and you're looking at always pulling the relationship apart. Go ahead.
well, so that A. So we had A, and on the lower side would be that toxic level. So we said, are you always in an attack mode?
Attack mode,
Are you always ready to attack? Are you always ready to come back? Or are you amenable and approachable? Can your spouse approach you when trouble comes?
Right.
Because if they can't, if there's always an attack ready, we're saying that that's a toxic indicator.
Right. Yeah, and then the next one, C, how well do you communicate? Do you spend time connecting with your partner to be able to communicate? Go ahead.
So he says. So those are awesome. You know, we got some new ones I see that you're coming in here with.
Okay.
But,
Well, you go ahead,
those
finish
are very, very good. But on the C, on the low side, are you competitive? Are you combative when you come together? Or are you willing to compromise? Are you willing to work with your mate when it comes to making decisions and it comes to life situations and things that happen?
Yeah, what about the I?
So the I, we said, are you an instigator on the low side? Are you always instigating? Or are you insightful?
Right.
Can you see into what's really going on?
Yeah.
And are you able to discern? That's that D. After being insightful, can you discern it?
Yeah.
Or are you ready on the low side to derail and call it quits?
Yeah. So all of what we just did is going to tie right in to tonight's discussion, because tonight's discussion, we're talking about how well do you handle contention? How well do you handle it when you're at odds with each other? And oftentimes, second time or next time, or really all time around relationships, God bless you, Sister Erica. Thank you for tuning in. They have a hard time being able to make it into what I call the second seasons of the second time around. And that's where you kind of get in harmony with each other. You get into a flow with each other. And so tonight, if you haven't shared this, you need to make sure you do it, because we're going to spend some time talking about how well do you handle contention. How well do you handle it when you're on opposite sides of the fence? How well do you handle it when you don't necessarily see eye to eye? Can you get to the harmonious or the second season part of the relationship? And oftentimes, second time or next time around, couples really don't make it there, just simply because they don't handle contention too well.
And I think what you're saying is conflicts. How do we really handle conflict?
That's it.
How well something is going on. How do you handle it? How do you deal with the conflict?
Yeah.
Is it going to be something that is going to magnify what was lying underneath?
Underneath.
It was always there, but you never really brought it out.
Right.
So that conflict comes when you realize that there's an impasse that the two of you need to come across. But conflict happens when you don't exactly know how to deal with it, or you're used to dealing with it a certain way.
You already here.
And coming off, you're
in a way
that's going to be negative.
So the very first thing, if you're going to survive that and get to the second season, is you got to learn how to keep the main thing the main thing. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, second time, next time around couples, and really all couples, can spend time majoring in the minors and not majoring in the main thing. And so our shirts tonight really, really help communicate about how to keep the main thing the main thing. What does yours say? What's your shirt say? What's your shirt say?
Can I read it?
What's your shirt say?
Always trust your king.
And mine says, always trust or protect your king, your queen. Always protect your queen. So listen, the main thing is not one of you, but the two of you. And I want to speak to that from this standpoint. You've got to have a clear understanding of your identity as a couple about why it is you are together. Have you found your why yet? And so that then begins to speak to your identity. And so when you've got a good, clear understanding about your identity as a couple and about why you are together, it's real easy to keep the main thing the main thing. And so unless it's something, many times couples can go off on tangents. We just moved into a house. Mm-hmm. And so the big thing for us was, getting the house and then actually getting here, making sure the interest rate was low and that we didn't have to spend an exorbitant amount of money in order to get in so we would be able to live.
Right.
That was our main thing. So we didn't necessarily spend a whole lot of time arguing about, well, what color the walls going to be? Or do we have to have this kind of flooring or that kind of carpet? Because the main thing for us was just getting in here. And what I'm saying to many, many couples, as you begin to come into the relationship with each other, you've got to remember your why we are together, and be able to keep the main thing the main thing. And that has to do with understanding what your identity is. I keep saying this on several different broadcasts. I want to bring it out again real quickly. Do you understand what is going to be the corporate connection? Let's see who we got watching tonight. To the Coxes, to the Bryces, or the Prices, and to the Roysters, and to the Sparrows.
Yeah.
Do you understand why it is that you all are together? Go ahead, honey. You want to add anything on that one?
Oh, you were handling that so well. I was getting comfortable. I thought I was in a Sunday service right here. Okay. Right. The main thing, because a lot of times, if the main thing was just to get married, or the main thing was just to get the house, what happens after the marriage? What happens after you get the house?
There you go.
Because once you get the house, we're finding out we've got to put things in the house.
Right.
Now, if you buy an older house, there's sometimes some older issues that were there that you don't see when you're walking through that house.
That's good.
In a relationship, you may not see what's underneath or what's going on in your mate if you haven't had time really to understand and get to know them. And even sometimes if you've been together with someone for years, you may not realize what's really causing them to feel the way they feel about a certain thing.
Right.
I remember we were at Living Waters with Denise and Lee Boggs.
Yeah.
And he was talking about a peanut butter sandwich. She hadn't made a peanut butter sandwich, and that really caused him to go off and have this reaction. And it was something that happened in his past with his parental structure.
Right.
But you don't ever know what causes somebody to go off all of a sudden. And you're wondering, well, I didn't do anything. I haven't said anything. What's going on? But there's something that lies beneath the surface. And it really, sometimes it doesn't come out until conflict arises.
Right.
And you may not even know what the source of the conflict is until you get into a situation and your partner acts in a way that you're not used to.
Right.
And you're like, what happened?
And then when that happens, you've got to remember, is this the main thing? Is this issue that they're concerned about, should I be at such an alarm where I'm willing to go back into the acid test, I'm ready to now end up derailing? Am I willing to, can I discern properly where we are? Do I have adaptability? Can I adjust to the mood swing or the dynamic or what's drawing this out? This is how you get through the conflict or the contention and the tense moments, or as we say sometimes, intense moments of fellowship with each other, to be able to navigate through that. Because keep in mind, the main thing is you want to get to the second season.
Yes, but conflict will sometimes give you the opportunity to grow closer to that spouse.
Right.
Because if you're insightful and you're willing to be amenable and adaptable and really go and seek after what's causing this person to react in a certain way, to have this emotional outburst,
right?
Or even to withdraw, because not everybody has an emotional outburst. Some just withdraw.
They withdraw and get real silent.
They get real quiet, and you don't know what is the problem. Where is this coming from? But if you're willing, that contention can sometimes lead you into a path of growing closer together as you get to find out what's really going on. But you've got to have the patience. We've got to have the patience one with another when conflict arises, to really be insightful, to really be discerning about what's going on underneath.
Absolutely. Because, that movie, What Lies Beneath, there were two persons that were inside of the main character of that particular film. And so there was something else that was going on inside of her, and you really couldn't see until she actually got into water. And when she got into water, that drew it out. So in many times when conflict happens, that's what draws out what's hidden underneath.
Right.
And that's when you've got to be able to say, hey, wait a minute. I got to keep this thing about the main thing, and that's our unity, our togetherness, which brings us to number 2. If you haven't shared this yet, you need to share this and get it to as many people as you can, because tonight we're talking about how to survive, navigate through contention and conflict so that your second time becomes your next time and is your best time around relationships. Share it real quickly. Get as many people in as you can. Number 2, mindset. If you're going to survive conflict, you've got to have the right, or I would say not even so much right, the same mindset. Now, I know this isn't Sunday morning, and that doesn't mean that you've got to be a cookie cutter with your spouse, that they've got to be exactly like you and you've got to be exactly like them. But I've got just three scriptures real quickly that I want to be able to communicate with when I talk about mindset, because many times people, all of us, come to the relationship with different motivations, and that's okay. But the important things about the motivations is you can't keep the main thing if you don't have the mindset. You can't accomplish the why about why you are together if your mindset and the way that you think doesn't come in agreement with each other. Watch this. Philippians 4:2. Here's Paul talking to the Philippian church. He says, I implore Euodia and I implore Syntyche, 2 women, to be of the same mind, where not in temporal things, but in the Lord. That has to do with purpose about why you are together. Look at this one in Philippians 3:16. Nevertheless, to the degree that we have already attained, let us walk, watch this, by the same rule, and let us be of the same mind. You see that mindset right there, how important that is? And look at number 3. Therefore, since Christ suffered for us in the flesh, arm ourselves, or yourselves also, watch this, the way that you handle issues of the flesh. Arm yourselves by being of the same mind. So when you put being of the same mind and mindset and along with main thing together, you give yourself a fighting chance in order to be able to get through the conflict, to be able to get through the contentious moment, to be able to get through the intense moment, because your reason why you are together is going to be the glue that holds you together, and that understanding of the main thing It's got to be built upon something of substance and not something of the flesh. And no, Paul said you can't deal with the flesh naturally. You've got to deal with that by the Spirit, and that's being able to change the way that we think and being of the same mind. Go ahead.
Well, when you talk about being of the same mind, I'm thinking already of unity, because there's power in agreement. And when you can agree on things, even if there is a conflict, but you come together with the agreement, hey, I love you, I care about you, I'm here for you, I want to be here for you. When you have that agreement that we're going to be here for each other, that, you know, it may be uncomfortable, and that's what conflict brings out, that uncomfortability with having to deal with the emotions of the moment. But if you're willing, if you have the mindset that says, I'm going to stick with this, it doesn't feel good right now, but I'm going to stay with you. When that mindset settles, hey, I'm not looking at derailing, I'm not looking at divorcing, I'm not looking at separating, I want to work this thing out. That power and the unity, that agreement will bring and command the blessing of the Lord.
Oh, there
so
you go.
Want to walk. Sometimes we say the hardest state to reach is the state of agreement. But when you walk together in agreement, you can do miracles. You can do momentous things or monumental things when there is agreement within that relationship.
See, and when we start to talk about agreement, there is a Hebrew word and the Greek word for agreement. I know this isn't Sunday morning, but I can't help it. That literally talks about an equilibrium, a stasis where there is a synchronization and a syncopation. Let me say that again. A synchronization and a syncopation where you all are able to walk together with each other in what we call the right stride. Where the right foot goes up with one and then the left foot comes up with the other. When you think about unity, the root word for both of them in both Greek and Hebrew is the word accord. And so being of accord in a symphony, you know, you've got different notes that are played.
Yes.
And so oftentimes when we get connected into relationship with each other, many people are just thinking about their note. But they've got to think about their note in congruence or connectivity with the other notes. And so when you start to put both of your notes together, a sound should be created. When that sound is created, if the notes are right and in sync with each other, harmony gets created. And what happens in many second time and next time around relationships, there's no harmony. Because people are focusing in solely only on their note. But when you begin to keep the main thing and have the right mindset, what ends up taking place is you start looking at how harmonious are we with each other? How much of a flow of syncopation and synchronization are we in with each other? Because, I keep going back to it, we're making sure that we keep the main thing, and that we're going to see ourselves in this relationship for the next 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And look, at this age, second time, the next time around, now some of you 20s and 30s may be watching, but come on, 40s, 50s, and 60s, you ain't got a lot of time to be trying to figure all this out. You got to get it together so that this thing can really make it, because if for no other reason, you have children that are watching, adult children that are watching, a surrounding community that's checking you out to see if this thing is for real or not. You know, I say this all the time when I'm talking to people. They talk to us, they not necessarily you, but me. You know, y'all doing second time around, y'all newlyweds. Y'all, what y'all doing talking about relationships and all that kind of stuff. So I had to tell some of them, I said, when you put us both together, that's 38 years of marriage. We know what to do and what not to do. We're not rookies at this.
Although we're still learning.
Although because you never stop learning.
Right.
You're always in the process where you're growing. So that is just simply to say, you don't got a whole lot of time to be trying to figure stuff out. You got to work at it and come in with the right mindset that, hey, I'm committed to this until the end. And listen.
That's the thing. You've got to do the work.
That's it.
You've got to do the work.
That's
Glenn and Cherie Brooks right there.
Max.
You have got to do the work that it requires. It's not always going to be easy, but I can tell you this, when you are working together and each one is doing the right note and their note, that sound that comes from them is going to be evident. It's going to be a beautiful sound.
Yeah.
So when you're out in public, they're not going to see chaos. they're not going to see discord
Right.
and disagreement, but they're going to see the harmony.
You huffing and puffing over there, and she cutting her eyes over here. Like, come on, anybody got time for all that?
Correct. That's absolutely correct. So when you focus on what the main thing is, we're together to build, we're together to grow, we're together to love one another, and to show our family, to show our children behind us, to leave a legacy of love. You know, because we know that there's been disruption, and there's been something that has happened to cause us to be in these second-time relationships. But we want the sound that comes from this new relationship to be one that is pleasant to the ear and one is pleasant to look at.
If you're watching tonight and you haven't shared this, I want you to put this in the chat real quickly. It ends with us and it ends with me. Come on, put that in the chat real fast. It ends with us and it ends with me. I don't want you to have the mindset that I'm in this relationship until it ends, which means if I got to kill you and you got to kill me, then it's over. No. That end of disruption and discord and divorce and all of that ends with us and ends with me. Come on, put that in the chat. Ends with us and ends with me. Let me get to the last one tonight. If you haven't shared this, do it real quickly. We get ready to land the plane. Tonight we're talking about how to be able to navigate through conflict and navigate through contention and navigate through a differing of opinions and a different thoughts of how you view and see things. And there's a whole nother side to that, but we won't got that much time. So listen, the last one is real simple and easy. Memory. So you got to keep the main thing, be able to walk in the same mindset and memory. When we start talking about memory, I'm talking about remembering what it is that drew you to your spouse. Remember how you saw them and how your heart felt and fluttered in the beginnings or certain phases and stages of the relationship. Remember how you felt when you first kissed them, or remember the moments of your dating places, or remember the moments of your trips and vacations. Remember the moments of sitting and doing the Netflix and chill stuff, and remember the moments of going out on, several different date places. We've got some things that we've brought back with us that are memorabilia, that are important to us, that we can draw upon and begin to look at to remind us of moments that we have had that has been like a glue for us that keeps us together. We can't tell y'all all of what they are, but what I can do is I can give you one of these. Somebody may be asking, where are you getting all this from? Well, when you look at, I know it's not Sunday, but I can't help it. When you look at Israel coming into Canaan, they had to cross a body of water. And this body of water that they had to cross was fed from 5 different places. And as it was fed from those 5 different outlying rivers that gave it such a force, they came into their season of their wealthy place, their promised place, because number one, a miracle, because heaven ended up causing those other rivers to stop flowing so they could get through. Number 2, a change in a dynamic, because with the previous generation, one person did everything, and this new one, they both had to flow together. And lastly, a third one, the flow of how they did it was different, but that's not what I really wanted to say. What I really wanted to say is a specific commandment came to them. Take from among yourselves 12 stones and put the 12 stones in the bed of the river, so that when the waters come back, and you're walking and fishing and moving within this river, and your children ask you about how it is that you came into where you are, you can tell them what this stone represents. And oftentimes, not too many couples pull out the memories. And the memories are like the stones that keep the relationship anchored. And you've got to also remember the second side of this. You ain't trying to go back to where you were. I mean, ain't nobody trying to go back all over there again. Okay, I'm talking too long. Go ahead on. Anything you want to add on memory?
Yes, and not only do we remember and make those moments special, but remember special days. Yeah. Remember birthdays. Yeah. Remember to take time out, whether it's one day a week or one day every 2 weeks. Remember to celebrate each other. You know, the birthdays are important. Anniversaries are important. And then what if you just catch your wife or your husband looking, or your mate, your significant other, looking at something in the store, and you remember, it's like, I remember they looked at that. And then when a special moment comes, you just surprise them with it. You know, everything doesn't have to be so structured to where, you know, I can only get them a gift on the birthday, or I can only do it on Father's Day, you know, and Father's Day is coming up.
I'm waiting on my gift. I wish I could show them that one up there that I got on the wall I got early.
That was your pre-Father's Day gift.
I'm celebrating all week. Anyway, go ahead.
But remember those special moments, because it does something for your partner. It does something in them, and that creates a memory that you can look back to, that you can look on, and it gives. There's a feeling that comes when you remember that time. Yeah. There's a feeling that comes, and you say, you know what? I realize that they really do love me. Yeah. I realize that they're thinking about me. Call each other throughout the day. Text each other. Don't take for granted that that person's going to be there when you get home. Don't ever take for granted that that person will always be there. Always, you know, speak to each other, say good morning, smile, go to bed kissing each other. But be mindful to make good memories. Be mindful of that. And that it's so easy that as time goes along that you take each other for granted. That is so easy. It's easy to set in. Oh, I've done this, you know, before. I know what to expect. No, this is a new person. This is a new relationship. Make it special. Make the moment happen for each other.
I hope that this is, if you haven't shared this yet, this is one of them ones that you got to go back and play again. Listen, we'll be back later on in the month with more nuggets to help you begin to move along in your next time or second time. We definitely want it to be the best time in your relationship with each other. Make sure you share this. Get it to a friend. We'll see you again next time. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.